Good day everyone. My name is Sherlyn Alja Julie, and today I'm going to discuss about field survey and environmental monitoring. So what is field survey? So a field survey is a method of collecting information directly from a real location. Instead of relying only on a books or online resources, you go to the place and observe what is happening. So when we talk about field survey, it involves going to the actual location to observe, ask questions, take measurement, or record data. Field survey are commonly used in studies related to the environment, community, education, and social research because they provide real information and person information. So in field survey, we have purposes. So the first one is we have to gather first-hand data. So when we say first-hand data, it comes from the personal observation, surveys, interviews, experiments, or measurements done by the researcher. So because it is gathered personally from the word itself, personally, like ikaw talaga mismo. So first-hand data is usually more accurate and reliable for the specific purpose of the study. So the second one is we have to understand the real condition of an area, of course. So when we say field survey, di ba ikaw talaga mismo yung pumupunta doon para makita talaga kung ano yung mga ganap or kung ano ba talaga yun. So the third one is we have to identify problems and possible solutions. So when we say kapag makakita tayo ng problem, of course like agad-agad natin yung solusyonan. Yes. So now, let's move on to environmental monitoring. So environmental monitoring is the continuous observation and measurement of environmental conditions to check changes or potential problems. So when we say environmental monitoring, it is done to track changes, detect pollution, and understand how human activities or natural events affect the environment. So this process helps scientists and authorities make informed decisions to protect ecosystem and public health. So, in environmental monitoring, we have purposes. So, the first one is to detect pollution or environmental damage. So, of course, sa environmental monitoring, yung purpose nito is to detect pollution or environmental damage, rather. Then, the second one is to track changes over time. Of course, it also track the different changes over time. So, the third one is we have to help create solution and policies. And the last one is to protect human health and natural resources. So environmental monitoring, it's to protect human health and natural resources. So the second reporter will further explain. That's all for my report. Once again, I am Sherlyn Alja Julie.
Good day, everyone, especially to Ma'am Tahil. I am Mildred F. Guevara from Bitulad HE3A, the second reporter of group number 14, and my topic is all about water, air, and soil quality testing. So, water quality testing. This check if water is clean and safe. It measures things like clarity, odor, pH level, and the presence of harmful chemicals or bacteria. So, water quality testing, it is the testing done to make sure that water is safe for drinking, cooking, washing, and for living things like fish and plants. It checks the clarity of water to see if there is dirt or waste in it. The odor is checked to detect pollution or chemicals because we all know pollution is very harmful for our health. The pH level shows if the water is too acidic or too basic, which can harm humans and aquatic life. Water testing also looks for harmful chemicals like pesticides and bacteria such as coli that can cause diseases. Regular water testing helps prevent waterborne illnesses and protect our water resources because we consume everyday water. So we need clean and safe water for our consumption in everyday. So that's for water quality testing. So air quality testing. This determines how clean or polluted the air is. It measures dust, smoke, chemicals, and gases that may harm people or the environment. So, air quality testing measures how clean or polluted the air around us. It checks for dust and smoke, which can enter the lungs and cause breathing problems. It also measures gases as carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and dioxide, which usually come from vehicles, factories, and burning materials. For air quality testing can cause asthma, allergies, and other health problems. By testing air quality, we can know when the air is unsafe and take actions like wearing masks or reducing pollutions because pollution is very harmful for us in our health. So that's why it is important for us to test the air because air is what we breathe air is what we breathe every day, and we need the air clean and safe because it enters in our body. So that's for air quality testing. Now let's proceed to soil quality testing. So soil quality testing, this examines the nutrients and chemicals in soil to see if it is healthy for planting. It checks pH, moisture, and harmful substances. So soil quality testing is important to know if the soil is healthy for growing plants and crops. It checks the nutrients in the soil that plants needs to grow properly. The pH level tell if the soil is suitable for different plants. Moisture is measured to know if the soil has enough water. Soil testing also looks for harmful substances also, like heavy metals and chemicals that can damage plants and affect human health. Testing soil helps farmers and gardeners improve crop from growing and protect the environment. So that's how important soil quality testing because the soil if we test the soil is healthy, so the nutrients goes from the plants or the crops that we plant or the farmers plant it. So that's for soil quality testing. So that's all for my topic. Once again, I'm Mildred F. Guevara, the second reporter. So the next presenter will further discuss. Thank you.
So good day to each and everyone, especially to you, Ma'am Tahil. My name is Fatima Jasalim Budod. So my topic is all about the environmental impact assessment and study case on specific environmental issues. So now let's first focus on environmental impact assessment. So what is the meaning of AIA? AIA stands for Environmental Impact Assessment. It is a systematic process that evaluates and predicts the potential environmental effects and impact of proposed projects, policies, or activities before they are implemented. AIA is designed to ensure that environmental considerations are integrated into decision-making process and to promote sustainable development by minimizing adverse environmental effects. So this is the process that checks how a project may affect the environmental before it starts. So for example, before building a road, factory, or dam, AIA helps answer questions like will it harm plants, animals, or people? Will it cause pollution? How can we reduce the damage? So, AIA helps protect nature while allowing development. So, what are the need for AIA? The need for environmental impacts assessment (AIA) arises due to several reasons. So, here are some key points explaining the significance of AIA. Number one is protections of the environmental, AIA ensures that potential environmental impacts of proposed projects or activities are identified, assessed, and mitigated effectively. So AIA helps us find possible harm to air, water, land, plants, animals, and people and show ways to reduce damage. So number 2, sustainable development. AIA promotes sustainable development by assessing the potential environmental consequences of project. So this, to support sustainable development, it makes sure development meets today's needs without destroying the environment for future generation. And number 3, stakeholders engagement. AIA involves a participatory approach encouraging public participation and stakeholder consultation during the decision-making process. This means is to let people share their opinions. AIA allows the community and experts to share their ideas and concern about the project. It allows affected communities, experts, and interested parties to express their concerns, opinions, and suggestions, thereby enhancing transparency and accountability. Number 4 is legal and regulatory compliance. Many countries have the laws and regulations in place that require AIA of certain types of project. So this is to follow the rule, the law. Many projects are required by law to do an AIA. Before starting, AIA help ensure compliance with these legal requirements, ensuring that projects are prescribed environmental standard and guidelines. So now let us proceed to case study on specific environmental issues. So there are number 1, deforestations and biodiversity loss in Amazon rainforest in Brazil. So the issue for this is large-scale deforestations driven by agriculture, logging, and cattle ranching threatens biodiversity, carbon storage, and indigenous livelihood. So the Amazon rainforest is often called the lungs of the earth because it helps clean the air and stores carbon. However, many trees are being cut down to make space for farms, cattle ranches, and logging businesses. So why it is a problem? Because animals lost their homes, fewer trees means more carbon in the air, indigenous people lost their land and way of life. So that's the problem. And deforestation and biodiversity loss. So let us proceed to the number 2, which is the river pollution. River pollution, Citarum River in Indonesia. So the issue for this is extreme water pollution from industrial and urban waste. The Citarum River is one of the most polluted rivers in the world. Factories and households throw waste and chemicals directly into the river. So why it is a problem? Because water becomes unsafe to drink. Fish also die and people living near the river get sick. Number 3 is industrial pollution and chemical disaster in Bhopal, India. So the issue for this is catastrophic toxic gas release and regulatory failure. So 1984, a factory in Bhopal released a toxic gas into the air due to poor safety and weak government control. So bakit ba naging problema yung issue na to sa environmental? So because the thousands of people died or became sick. Also, long-term health problems affected many families and showed the danger of unsafe industries. Number 4, coral reef degradation. Great Barrier Reef in Australia. The issue for this is coral bleaching and habitat loss from climate change and pollution. Coral reef are underwater ecosystem that support many sea animals. Due to rising sea temperature and pollution, corals turn white and die. So this is called coral bleaching. So why it is a problem? Because fish lost their habitat, marine biodiversity decreases, and affects fishing and tourism. Number 5, we have wetland and lake pollution. Laguna de Bay in Philippines, the issue for this eutrophication and ecological imbalance in a major lake. So, sa Laguna de Bay siya yung pinaka-largest lake in the Philippines, with waste from homes, farms, and factories causes too many nutrients in the water, leading to eutrophication. So, why it is a problem? Because fish kills happen. Water also quality became poor and also affect fishermen and nearby communities. The last one is number 6. We have ecosystem collapse, Aral Sea in Central Asia. This issue, major ecosystem collapse due to water diversion for irrigation. The Aral Sea is used to be one of the largest lakes in the world. Rivers feeding it were diverted for irrigation, causing the lake to dry up. Why it is a problem? Because fish disappeared. Local climate change. And also the community lost jobs and clean air. So that's all about my assigned topic. Hope you class understand. Thank you.